stop, stop, then stop again. So this talk is on stopping. In our tradition, we say there are 3 steps to practicing mindfulness meditation: stopping, calming, and looking deeply. So this is the first step. So let's go back to mindfulness. What is it? It is the practice of being aware of what's going on in and around you in the present moment. You may have noticed that when you bring your attention to your natural breath, it brings your body and your mind into one entity, one reality. And it's also a way to just slow down and enjoy life. And that enjoyment was the point of this meditation. Just to simply give yourself 15 minutes of enjoying breathing in, breathing out. It gives us calm. It can make you smile naturally. You may have noticed some of those things. But mindfulness is a practice. And perhaps maybe you've learned a musical instrument where you had to practice, or a sport perhaps. And why is it that you do it? You do it so it becomes very natural. That perhaps when you're playing a piece and you've learned a certain scale, you recognize, oh, there that is. That's a part of that scale. I know how to do that. Da, 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 da. So, with mindfulness, we do this to make it a way of life. And I just saw a movie about practice. It's called Free Solo. I don't know if any of you saw it. It's about a man who was a professional mountain climber. And he aspires to climb without ropes El Capitan. It's like this straight up cliff face in California. And there's one scene in the movie where he's gonna try it without ropes, and he only gets about 500 feet up. And then he realizes, wait, that he can't do this. Because when he did it with ropes, there was a split second where his feet weren't touching anything. And he realized he couldn't do that without the ropes. So he climbs back down. But then what he does after that, is he's using ropes, is he rehearses over and over how he's going to do just that segment. And he does it, and then he climbs back down a little bit, and then he does it, and he climbs back down, and he just repeats it over and over again until till it's natural for him. And by the time he is ready to climb El Capitan without, just free, under the force of his own body, he can recite every move that it takes. And he succeeds. He does it in a little under 4 hours. It's fascinating. If you could see it, I recommend it. But that's practice. And so why would we want to engage in mindfulness practice? This is not solely about self-knowledge. You might know some people that have maybe negative, unhelpful, annoying behaviors, and they're just like, oh, that's just me. They have no desire to change that, to make themselves a better person and to stop irritating other people. We do it to nourish helpful and skillful qualities and understand the roots of unhelpful, unskillful qualities so that they can be transformed. And when we transform these qualities, and when we nourish the skillful, the helpful ones, we can be the fullest and finest expression of who we are. Another reason is to let go of busyness. It's such an epidemic these days. To slow down, rest, and just enjoy the conditions for happiness that really are all around us. Whether it's the Christmas tree, the beautiful stained glass, the faces of all of you. It's everywhere. So again, we call it, we use this stopping, calming, looking deeply. It's a tool for teaching. It's not necessarily step by step, okay, in order. So when we stop, we take our attention and we bring it into the present moment by anchoring our attention to our in-breath and our out-breath. It's enjoyable. It brings happiness. It's a big reason to do it. And another reason comes from neuroscience. Our body attaches itself to anything that says danger, danger. And there's a lot today that says danger, danger. So in order to counter that, neuroscientists have determined that we need to spend 20 to 30 seconds on something that brings us positivity or happiness. Because our brain naturally would just go, happy, oh, that's nice, and it's gone, okay? It doesn't really stick to us, okay? Unless we give it that 20 to 30 seconds. So my husband and I, we call it the 30-second rule. And so we'll see something beautiful like the full moon the other day. We were down in a rural area. We were in Mississippi at one of our monasteries. And the full moon was amazing. We're like, 30-second rule, and we just stand and we breathe and enjoy the full moon for 30 seconds. And you can do that for anything. So there are ways to practice stopping. The first, of course, is what we just did, sitting meditation. You enjoy sitting with your breath and bringing your attention from the past and the future and bring that all into the present moment. And of course, that's not the only thing we do. For this meditation, that's all I wanted us to do. I just wanted us to enjoy. And of course, there are practices when we do notice ourselves going to a thought. If we want to dwell on that and get to the roots of it, there are definitely practices for that. But if that's the only way we build our mindfulness practice, strengthen our mindfulness practice, we have to spend a lot of time on the cushion. I don't have that time. You probably don't either. So, what we do is we practice throughout the day, in addition to the time we spend on the cushion. And when we do this, it's a way to lessen our habit of busyness, of past and future thinking. You know, busyness for a lot of people is just a way of escaping something they don't want to see in the present moment. And so we can also use bells of mindfulness, gentle reminders to help us return to the present moment, slow down, and enjoy the often very ordinary wonders of life. And there's three main ways to do this: location, image, and sounds that water positive seeds. Okay, water the skillful, water the nourishing. And what you do is enjoy, when you have either the location, image, or sounds, you stop and you enjoy your breathing for a moment. Perhaps 3 breaths in and out. And then you go on with your day. So, a location. If you have the space, you can make a room that is just for your breathing. I don't have a breathing room, I don't have that space, but we have a corner that's our little breathing space. You can, in that space, you can place a picture, a candle, a flower, a statue, anything that reminds you to breathe and slow down. And I would say anything that makes you smile a little bit, nourishes your happiness. Okay? And maybe it's also the place you practice sitting meditation. You can sit a cushion or a chair by that. And it's where you sit and breathe in, maybe in the morning for a few minutes so that you can start your day fresh, or at the end of the day as well. Images. Now this is where, on the music stand there were some handouts where we use mindfulness practice verses. And these are short verses where with each line, first line you breathe in, second line you breathe out. And they encourage you to stop with ordinary activities throughout your day. Okay? So think about it. How many times do we turn on or off a light switch during the day? And what you can do is you can maybe cut this out and paste it by your white light switch, or maybe you have nice writing, you can do that, or type it up, or you can memorize it, the verse. And it's very simple. So focus. Forgetfulness is the darkness. Mindfulness is the light. I bring awareness to shine upon all life. That's just a wonderful, very nourishing image to give yourself. And say you do this by the light switch you turn off the most. Maybe the one when you first enter your house, the light switch you flip on. Another one, using the telephone. Words can travel 1,000 miles. May my words create mutual understanding and love. May they be as beautiful as gems and as lovely as flowers. And if you take 3 breaths to do that, you're fully present to the person on the other end of the phone. You can give them your full attention, your deep listening, and your loving speech. So, at work, we do our best to have a mindfulness-based work environment. And I encourage my staff to 3 is a little long for some people. So we do 2 breaths, just before they pick up the phone, so they can be fresh when they talk to the people who are calling. Another an image could be a child entering the room, or somebody, your significant other entering the room. Because you want to be fresh for them. You want to give them your full attention, your presence, your smile. And finally, sounds. When you go to any of the monasteries in the Plum Village tradition of Thich Nhat Hanh, you'll find the common areas all have chiming clocks in them. And they chime on the quarter hour, and so every time the clock chimes, everybody stops. So you could have 12 people in the room and they all stop, and they breathe 3 times. So that gives you 4 times an hour to stop and enjoy your breathing and refresh yourself. They have these, so we were inspired by that. We have a chiming clock in our house. I can't say we get it always 4 times on every hour, but we get it much of the time. On your computers, if you do an internet search and just search on mindful clock, you'll find that there's mindful clock apps that you can install on your computer. So if you, like a lot of people at work, are on a computer all day long, then you can set it to how frequently, and it'll go boom, and you can just stop and take a mindful breath if you like. 3 if you have the time. I lived up the street from a firehouse, and so I use sirens as mindfulness bells. And perhaps you could use, if you have a child that's of the age where crying means, oh, I better go see what's wrong. The child's cry, if you stop and you just breathe in and out 3 times and then tend to your child, you're going to also, you're going to give them, again, that freshness, that full attention, that love. So this handout, we made it up for the women of Rediscover. Rediscover is an addiction recovery program, and they've sort of just found us. And because we're open to the public, we adjusted what we do on Monday nights so that we could accommodate them. And what's unique about Rediscover is it's an addiction recovery facility where you can have your children with you, and that prevents a lot of women from going into recovery because they don't know what to do with their kids. And so we encourage them to cut these out, and to pick one or two and cut them out and put it in that location. And there is also, because they eat together and communally with their children, is the 6 contemplations for families with young people. Now, you may not have young people, I don't have children in my home, but I like the ones for young people. For some reason, we're very plain spoken with young people, but with adults, we get all flowery and elaborate. And it's the plain spoken thing that really works for, I did that last time, works for me. And I won't read it to you, but there's just a couple things. They're very simple. We only put on our plate as much food as we can eat. We want to chew our food slowly so we can enjoy it. And so when we stop and offer these contemplations to ourselves, we can really truly enjoy our food and enjoy each other. And so I encourage you to try this. Just pick one, one mindfulness verse, and just see how that works for you. And then if you find it works well, try another. Pretty soon you'll find you got mindfulness verses all over your house. And this practice of stopping, it does so much for us because it can help us be present to ourselves, to our families, to our community, and our society. And that makes for a better world. So thank you.